Hey, all my sexy friends, how are you? This is Shara, and while I was in New Zealand, I was Abled by Anne at A Colorful Life, and these Parku markers, there's 80 of them, and they were on just an amazing discount. I think I got them for like $30. So I needed a new marker, like I needed a new hole in the head, but I decided to get them anyway, and I'm going to go ahead and review them and swatch them out. So they come in this really awesome case. It is secure, and it holds the markers nice and secure. They don't just flop around like in the other budget-friendly markers bags. You know, they can stay in order. They came just like this. I haven't tried them out. They didn't come in any order, but they did come with a really nice little card to swatch them out. So this is that beehive design. So I'm not quite sure how it'll play out, but I thought it was nice that it came with that. And then each marker has a slot that it fits into. So these are kind of a triangular, rounded triangular shape. They're a nice size. They're not real large, and I like that better. They're more like the Cali Arts or Copics. I've gotten some markers. The master markers are pretty big, and they're just more cumbersome in your hand, and I like these. They have the textured dots here for easy removal of the cap, and the cap snaps on real nice. Nice tight fit, but it didn't take too much for me to get it off. It's got the name and the number at the end of it, which I really like. And then it also, well, it doesn't have the name or number on the actual pen body. So that is kind of a problem if you ever, you know, lose your both caps at the same time. I doubt that would happen, that you'd have both caps off. But it has a nice chisel tip. It's nice and pointy and tapered, so it should give a nice broad and also fine tip. And then also the bullet nib. It looks really nice, and I do like the way they snap on. Let's see if they stack at the bottom. That's always important. And they do. So that's great that they do that. And they have the gray band here to let you know that this is the fine tip. So you can just grab the marker and you automatically know what tip is where. So I really do like that. I wish that the body of the pen or the marker had the name and number, but like I said, you're hardly ever going to have both caps off at the same time, so I doubt it would be a real problem. So, and we'll check when we swatch them out. We'll check to see how good they are at matching the color with the cap color. So I just really do like the way that they're set up in this nice box with the handle, and it's just such a nice feature to have them you know, just a lot more organized. They're not just flopping in a bag, and you can, you know, stack several marker on top. Those bags they're cheap, and I don't think they're very effective. And in this kind of design, you wouldn't have to put these into a separate case. So let's go ahead and get started on swatching them out. Take a sip of my tea. So how's everyone doing? I just got back from New Zealand a week ago, and of course I'm gonna put you down a little bit. I had ordered these while I was gone, And so it was nice. I came home to some presents, so that was really good. I'm just gonna grab a marker and then find the number on the chart. I think that'll be easier than trying to find the marker to go in order on the chart. So we'll just start with that turquoise green, and it's turquoise green light, and it's number 57. And I think these aren't in order either, so here's 57. So first we'll start off with the bullet nib. And that's nice, they're juicy. Markers are not my thing, and I have a sore thumb, so I probably will make a big mess with these. Coming through the card a little bit, it's ghosting a little bit there. That's a pretty thick cardstock. I mean, we expect alcohol markers to go through the page. That's something that's pretty standard. So I don't know if it's the paper or if it's the marker, but they are brand new and they haven't been used yet. Oh, there, it's flowing good. It wasn't flowing very nice at first, but that's good. And that color's pretty much spot on with the cap. So that's nice. That's definitely nice when that happens. So here is French Vermilion, number 22. That's up here. So I had a wonderful time in New Zealand. I have 3 grandbabies now, you know. I have 1.5-year-old Liam Yum is what I call him. We have 6-month-old Okatalina, who I call Kata. And then of course my heart, Andrew. I love them all, but Andrew and I have a really close relationship, and you know, he's 8, so we just have a lot more history and talking time. So I'm sure I definitely connected wonderfully with Yum while I was there. Many times a day he was coming up to have me read his favorite book, and it was just adorable. So he is definitely just a precious, precious kid. This is number 14. Oh, I forgot to look. Now this looks like it's pretty spot on too. French Vermilion, that cap color was perfect. And this is Vermilion, number 14. Now they are, I don't know if it's me actually going over the line or if it's just spreading. I wasn't paying attention, so now we'll pay a little bit more attention to that. And I'll try to pay a little bit more attention to my application, because I am definitely not very good with markers, which is why I didn't need any more markers, but I could not resist that price. And again, this one looks pretty spot on with the color too. So that's pretty impressive, actually. I love the caps are on nice and secure, but they come off. The dots that are on them really help, but the caps just come off very nicely, but they are really secure. So that's nice. This is pretty close too. So that was Vermilion. And now we have Warm Gray 0.5. So that is a pretty light color gray. Oh yeah, definitely a light color. I think these are nice and juicy. They're not bad. And they seem the same on both ends. I don't know if the ink goes through. I'm assuming that it does. I've heard there are markers where they are separate chambers, but I think this goes all the way through. Yeah, I really like that. And the color, again, a nice warm light gray, so that was good. Now we have number 52, which is deep green. I do like that it came with this color chart, or a swatching chart. That's not something that's typical. And I like that you keep it with the markers, that you don't keep it separate in a binder. Most of my pencils, I now keep the color chart with the case of pencils, because you know, you want to be able to grab the case and not have to grab other stuff as well. Now I can't get this cap back on, and I don't know if it's me. Oh, there we go. I just had it on a little crooked. Anyway, I had just a great time in New Zealand, playing with the kids, and this is pretty good. I mean, at least it is showing a dark green, and the cap is a dark green, and that was called deep green. And now we have GG3, which is green gray. GG. I don't see GG. Oh, there it is. GG3. And when I got back, I've been pretty busy. When I got back, my son, who lives in Australia, he's been there almost 8 years. He came in at the same day I did to LAX, and so he's visiting. So we've been having a lot of time together. And then I had the colorathon this past weekend, and that was fabulous and but busy. And then my birthday was yesterday, and we were out and about all day eating and doing stuff. I had to get an injection into my hand. We had to go to the pharmacy, you know, boring stuff. But then we ate. We went to get my free Starbucks. We went over to Coronado and hung out there a little bit and ate again, and then went and got coffee and ate some dessert, and that was, you know, fabulous. So it was nice. I haven't had an actual birthday where I was able to be spoiled, and we just laughed all day and with my two boys, and we just had a blast. And they gave me this beautiful watch. It's a Coach watch, and it's just gorgeous. I love it. And then I can't show you, but I have two necklaces, a polished amethyst crystal, and then I can't remember what we called it. It's a rainbow rock. It's beautiful. And then some really pretty dangle pearl earrings. So I was just utterly shocked how spoiled I was and how much fun we had. So it was fabulous. And this is fluorescent orange 122. And here we go. Whew, that is definitely fluorescent. That's like a highlighter right there. I think this is how I'll do it. I think I need to work on staying in the lines here. You may be hearing one of my boys snoring in the background. I won't put him on blast and tell you which one. He's crashed out. He's definitely enjoying his vacation. He works really hard in Australia. He's the general manager of a pretty good sized company, and so he travels, he stays pretty busy. Yeah, that's spot on with the cap. So it's nice that he's having this vacation. He spent the first week of his vacation in Canada snowboarding, and then came here. So he's had some pretty busy time, and so now it's nice that he's a little bit more relaxed and able to just, hang out with his brother. It's sad that my daughter's not here to hang out with her brothers, but this was number WG1. I will be doing a second review because, again, there was just a killer lightning deal on Amazon, and I purchased the Arteza real brush pens, the 96-cent set, the 96-piece set for only $40, which was just crazy. That is such a good price. And again, I am not good with watercolors, but I think it's nice to have the supplies and learn, and I can get on and show you how bad I am with them, and we can all learn together, and hopefully I'll get better. Hopefully, my hand is pretty sore today, but the brace really made my wrist hurt, and so I'm just dealing with it. The injection, when they first do it, it has Novocaine in it, so they know they've got it in the right space, and they actually inject it right into your joint. The needle goes all the way in, and it's already an inflamed and irritated joint, and then they go and stick a needle in it. So it doesn't feel very good when they first do it, but then the Novocaine takes over. This is spot on as well, WG1. And so then the Novocaine takes over, and they know they've got it in the right space when your pain is alleviated pretty instantaneously. This is Marigold number 24. And so then for a good couple of hours, my hand felt fabulous. It felt like no pain at all. And then the Novocaine wears off, and all that fluid that's in that joint space that's already inflamed and irritated starts to hurt, and it hurts pretty bad. It actually is a little bit more painful than it had been, but it's a different kind of pain. I don't know how to explain it, but the cortisone will take effect within the next couple of days, and it should really help with the pain. I was relieved from pain for 6 months with my last injection, so I just didn't have enough time before. When it started hurting, I didn't have enough time to get in to see the orthopedist before I left for New Zealand. So I kind of had to suffer while I was in New Zealand, and picking up and holding babies was, just aggravated it to no end. But I'd rather cut off my head than not hold babies. So, yeah, this is pretty close. This is still drying. So, yeah, Marigold number 24. And we rented a cabin while I was in New Zealand, so we saw a little bit more of the country than in the past. It was gorgeous. We were only about a 2-minute walk. This is turquoise green number 53. Just a 2-minute walk from the beach. It was a rocky beach, but the kids were able to swim a little bit. Ooh, that one was a little tight coming off. Yeah, 53. And the cabin was just really cool. It was like an old, a real log cabin made out of real logs, and it was large. It had a big mezzanine at the top. I think I mentioned it before. And then there were probably 6 beds up there. And then they had 2 bedrooms, and I had a bedroom with the most amazing view. I put some pictures on Instagram. And then there was no Wi-Fi, there was no anything, so that was really great. Yeah, these are juicy. These are working great. It looks like the distribution of the ink is all the way through because there's no variation of color from one end to the other. I really like them, and again, the cap is pretty spot on number 53. And now we've got fluorescent pink, number 126. Ugh. Now, I don't know if it's this cap or if it's me, but this one was a little tight coming off. But I have very weak hands lately, and so it's hard for me to tell if it's me or if it's the cap. But I don't think anything is tighter than those darn Prismacolor caps. I have to bite them off. I have to pull them off with my teeth. They don't, I cannot get them off. They're terrible. They really need to do something about those. This is a beautiful color, fluorescent pink. It's almost to the purple end. It's not quite like what I'm used to for a highlighter. It's beautiful, very bright and vivid. It's beautiful, and again, color matches great. Fluorescent pink. I just love how nice that goes in there. Number 103, potato brown. And this is Anne's favorite color. She loves potato brown. I think she loves potato brown more than she loves blue, and we know she loves blue. 103, come on, let me find 103. There it is. Oh, it's a very nice color. I am really digging these markers. They are pretty good. Parku, you have done a really great job with these. They're so, the case is relatively compact. It's not a really large plastic case. These are definitely ones you can grab and go because they are so secure. Yep, that came out really nice. And the color, that one's a little off. That color here is much brighter, a little darker. We'll let it dry a little bit and see how it matches. Let's see. Oh, yeah, they are coming through, even this thick cardstock, but that's expected. That's why you don't use these on two-sided pages unless you're willing to give up that other page. And you always have to put a card in between. Yeah, that's not perfect, but at least it's the right shade. Melon yellow, number 33. You always have to put a piece of paper or two between your coloring pages, or if you use markers. I put it in even if I'm using pencil because I don't want to put dents or scratch marks, on the other pages. And but you have to put that if you use marker because the ink will just go all the way through. I've ruined pages by accidentally forgetting to put in a sheet of paper or two. Melon yellow. Again, it's a much darker color than the cap is showing. Same as the potato brown. So only a couple so far have been kind of off, but not terribly off. At least it's 123 fluorescent yellow. Boy, this is fluorescent. It looks 123. There it is. Now I know there's a method in the typical sense to this beehive kind of color arrangement, the way they put it. So this one looks like it might be following that. I'd have to look into how it works. Oh, that one's a little tight going on. But I know that there's other colorists and YouTubers that are putting them in this format instead of just on a straight sheet of paper. This is fluorescent yellow. That's not near as bright as I thought it was going to be. I've seen yellow highlighter way, but usually that's a gel highlighter. But this doesn't match quite right, but it's okay. I'm okay with that. number 11, Carmine. Over here. So yeah, this is right next to the pink. So I do think that there is a method to this format. So I will have to check into it more. If it groups them by color. And of course, I will put these in color order after. I'm not gonna do that while I'm here. So how is everyone doing? Tell me in the comments what you're coloring with. I haven't actually been coloring a ton. Oh, that matched pretty good. The color to the pen was pretty much spot on. I really haven't been coloring much. First off, my hand has been sore, but I have just been so busy. I have not had time to color. I was so excited today. I said, oh my gosh, I get to color all day if I want. Oh, this one's hard to get off. Ooh. Oh, I can't get that. Okay, I don't know why this one's not coming up. Oy, there we go. 99 bronze. Yeah, that one was a little tight coming off. But like I said, these are brand new, so it just may be the newness of it. Hasn't had a chance to loosen up. Oh, there, I'm gonna win on better. Oh, that came off great. So these are on a really good deal. I think they were $39.99, and then they had a $10 off coupon. I know right after I purchased them, that $10 off coupon disappeared. So they were back up to the $39.99, which is still a fabulous price. I think I paid twice that much for some master markers that were 80 count. So, and then I don't even like them. They're brush markers, but they're just too big. The brush is too big. I just don't like them. That was 99 bronze, and that's pretty spot on. Yeah, I'm liking these so far. These are pretty cool. Purple Gray. Well, now that's a weird name. Number 88. You usually can't go by the name. I hardly ever know the name of a marker. I usually just go by the number, and the same with pencil. You know, the Black Widows have names, and I think the names are cool. A lot of the names are pretty clever, but I don't go by the names. I go by the number, and just as an identifying factor, I don't use it. I don't say, oh well, I want bubblegum pink. I don't think that way. I think, you know, what color I want, and I pick it based on, you know, what the number is. This is a really pretty pink. It's called Purple Gray, which makes no sense, but it is a very pretty color. And that matches. That's nice. I really like that. I think it's hysterical that that's called Purple Gray. Pale Lilac, number 147. This makes sense. But again, out comes a pink color. So the name matches the cap, but what comes out at the end of this is more pink than lilac, I think. Oh, I guess it's a little lilac. It's very gorgeous. Sorry, my hand just couldn't catch that. Oh, that is such a beautiful color. Yeah, I guess that could be considered a lilac, but it certainly doesn't match the cap. This one is light pink, 138. Now see, I do see that it's grouping them together, which I don't know how colors, even pencils, how they're numbered. The names, like I said, I don't go by the name. but the number, I get very confused why light colors may not be numbered in sequence or in order. I guess I would have to go into color theory and understand, you know, the properties that make up that color and to see why they're numbered the way that they are. You know, polychromos, they have some yellows and then they go into the other colors and then they have some other yellows that are in a different area, and I don't understand how that works. So this is considered light pink, and I don't think that really looks pink. I think that looks more more lavender. I guess it's kind of pink, but it doesn't really match. It matches the other one better, but it doesn't match the light pink ink. But again, that's not what's important, which is why markers, pencils, I don't generally swatch, because pencils I like to put down on a piece of paper and mix them. Markers, I want to look at it and say, okay, what color do I want? So I usually do swatch markers, but I don't swatch pencils anymore. This is Brick Brown, number 94. Markers, I don't generally, it's not the same type of coloring. I'm doing more straight coloring, so I don't need to blend it or you know, use the, you know, minimum of 3 colors per item or per, you know, object that I'm coloring. You know, it's going to be more straight coloring. I'm going to be doing grayscale, or I'm going to be doing just a basic print. Like I said, I'm not a master marker user. Not anywhere near that. I mean, I can barely stay in the lines here. I'm not even doing that successfully. This is pretty good, 94. That was called Brick Brown. Again, the names don't make sense to me. This is CG1 Cool Gray. And I like a set of markers to have some grays, but again, just like pencils, I don't need it to have a ton of grays. If it has, you know, a couple of, you know, light, dark, medium, and then the different tones, the cool gray, the warm gray, I'm pretty good with that. I don't need the, if you're gonna do green gray, just put it in green. If you're gonna do blue gray, just do it in blue. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not that specific in my coloring. This one's pretty good, and it's CG1. This is fun. I haven't swatched anything in a while. Number 65, Ice Blue. I'm really enjoying this. It's these are really nice markers, and it's fun to talk to you guys. I've been sort of out of touch. I haven't been in a lot of streams. I haven't been able to chat it up. Typing on my phone, which is really all I had access to when I was in New Zealand, was really difficult with my thumb. So I just wasn't really, I was watching streams, but I wasn't really chatting it up because it just hurt. So I'm hoping that now I'm on my computer, and as long as I'm not wearing the brace, I can type. I still type with one finger because I have to use my left hand, and I used to be a typist to use both hands, no looking at the keyboard, but those days are gone. So to be out of commission with both hands has been quite annoying because I don't really use my right hand a lot, and then with my left hand hurting so badly. 65 Ice Blue, that's pretty spot on. It's been miserable, but I'm gonna stop complaining, and I'm just going to be grateful that I was able to get my injection. In fact, it was funny because when I called to make the appointment, she, the lady said, "Oh, it's your birthday that day. You don't want to do it on your birthday." That was the first available appointment. This is number 58, Mint Green Light. And I'm like, oh, heck no, that's what I want, is to go on my birthday. That'd be the best birthday present ever, to get out of pain. So even though I knew it wasn't going to take effect, I was like, I don't care if it's my birthday, I want to take that appointment. So it was great. And we just had a great day yesterday. I was just so happy, you know, spending it with my boys. I like seeing them together. The last time Jake was here, my youngest son, he was only 20, so he couldn't, you know, they like to go out to clubs or whatever, and they're going to actually go to Vegas this weekend. He wasn't able to do any of that, so it's nice because Jake is 28 and Raul is 22, so they're 6 years apart. So when they were growing up, 6 years was quite significant, so they never really hung out. So it's really nice to see them hanging out as grown men and really connecting. And Jake's, the first time he came, which was in 2016, he brought his girlfriend and a friend, and so he saw his brother and loves his brother and everything, but they didn't really hang out a lot. And then the last time he came, you know, they hung out, but, you know, he wasn't able to go do the things that Jake and his friends were allowed to do. And then this time he's single, and he did have his friends here, but again, with my youngest being 21 now, they could go do more of the same things, and they've just really had some good time together, and it's great. It makes me very happy to see that. This is good, 58 mint green light. So that makes me so happy. And you know, I love my kids. My kids are the most important thing in my world. And you know, with my youngest being here, he gets pretty sad sometimes, having his brother and sister so far away. And it's just nice that Jake is here, and that he and his brother are really, you know, having some really good time together. So he's still having to go to school and work, but he was able to get some time off and spend some time with his big brother. So I really like that. One of these days, we're going to move to either New Zealand or Australia. We're going to find a way. It's actually easier for him to go as a young person. He can get a student visa and a work visa. You know, I'm getting up there. I'm 53. I don't know what the cutoff is for Australia, but for New Zealand, it's 56. And although I don't really want to work as a credentialed teacher, you know, I could go over on a visa. I don't have to actually have a job. I can support myself, but I wouldn't have to actually have a job offer. But that level of visa that's is kind of on hold right now. So is sponsoring a parent, and it's all changing. It doesn't go by the parents' income anymore, or their ability to support themselves. It goes by the sponsor's income, and the amount for the sponsor has gone up exponentially, or is very high. I don't know if it was ever a factor before, but it's very high. And so I don't know. I don't know how it's going to happen, but Raul still hasn't made a trip out to Australia or New Zealand, so that's going to be coming up soon, that he'll go do that. And then he'll really have a great time. And he'll probably never come back, and I'll have all of my family on the other hemisphere, and I'll have to find a way to go over there. Anyway, this is CG9, and this matches pretty good with the cap. This is 100 walnut. It's a baby diarrhea yellow, I think. That's what I call it. Yeah, it's kind of a more brown, but that's just not a pretty color. But it has its use, especially for like shadowing on a yellow. But by itself, not in a picture, it's kind of a poopy color. That mustardy kind of yellow. gray poupon color. I mean, yeah, gray poupon, that's what it's called. Do you have any gray poupon? I just thought it was so funny. That's the color of poop, and it was called poupon. I don't know. I have that poopy sense of humor, I guess. That's a pretty good match there. 100 walnut. Now these are in no order whatsoever in this box. WG4, I wonder if they're all in the same order or if they're just randomly put in there. I have no idea. So I think the boys are leaving for Vegas. Well, they're gonna go up to the IE, which is the Inland Empire. That's where we were living before we moved back down to San Diego County. All the kids were born here in San Diego County, and but I got a job up in the Inland Empire in the city of Fontana, and it was just great. And the kids all fully went to school. Jake was in 3rd grade when we moved, but the other two started their school careers, and they all graduated from the Inland Empire, or from Fontana. So once my youngest graduated, we could, I always told myself I wasn't going to move my kids during their high school years because I had to go to 2 different high schools, and that was tough for me. WG4, and that's a little off, but it's not bad. And so they did all graduate from the same school that they had started at, and once my son graduated, I said, well, we don't have to stay in Fontana anymore. Not my ideal place to live. 42 Bronze Green. And so my daughter was already down here in San Diego, going to San Diego State University with Andrew. She had moved down here and was living with her aunts. And so me and her brother decided to move down, and we all moved in together, and then just things transpired from there. Sabrina moved out with her husband to Utah and with Andrew, and then my youngest son and I moved in here together in my apartment in San Diego, downtown San Diego. So it all worked out perfect, but San Diego is just a perfect place to live. I mean, I can't imagine a more ideal setting. The weather is beautiful. There's so much culture and stuff to do. This is a really bicky color, isn't it? Yuck. I'm sure it has its place though. 42 Bronze Green, and that definitely matches the color of the cap. So anyway, that's sort of so anyway, the boys, I forgot where I was going with that. The boys are going up to Fontana to visit friends and hang out places and stuff where they all grew up, and spend the day there with, they're going to stay the night at a friend's house. He just got a big 7-bedroom house up there, and then they're all going to go to Vegas. So it's only a few hour drive to Vegas from the Inland Empire. I mean, I think it's maybe 3 hours if there's no traffic. So this is 62 Marine Green. This is beautiful. I'm getting ink all over my hands. So they're gonna go do that, and I'm gonna chillax, hang out. I don't usually suffer from jet lag. The only time, the last trip I made home was the only time I suffered any sort of sleep problems, and that was the only time in the 5 times I've gone to New Zealand in the last year and a half. So this is 62 Marine Green, and I think it matches well. So I haven't suffered any jet lag or any problems from that. I've just had such a busy time of it. We rented the cabin the last weekend before I left, so that was, you know, a more hectic schedule than we had been keeping, and then you know, traveling. I think it took me close to 24 hours total with layovers to get home, and then just the just the busyness of having Jake here, and his friends came to visit, so we had a lot of people in the house, and then just kind of the boys, and just a lot more than the activity I'm used to. Pretty sedentary life, so it's been pretty hectic. So I'm ready to just chillax. I need to get some laundry done. This is CG4 cool gray, and so I'm glad the boys are going to go spend some time together. I know my youngest, the only time he's been to Vegas was when he was 5 years old, and we went on a road trip, and one of the places we stayed was in Vegas at Circus, and we did the Adventure Dome there, which is a kids theme park, and then we went to Hoover Dam and did the dam tour and drank dam water, and it was damn hot, and that was so much fun. I did it just so the kids could say they went on the dam tour. And then we went to the Grand Canyon. We actually went to Williams, Arizona, and you take a train to the Grand Canyon. It was just a wonderful experience. I had seen the Grand Canyon when I was a kid, and I had been awe-inspired by it, and I just couldn't wait to take my own children. And then we got there, and the boys constantly were pushing and shoving each other, which they did. They were 12 and 6, or 11 and 5, almost 6. And maybe Jake was already 12 by then. I was so afraid that they were gonna, play pushing each other and just harassing and fall into the canyon. So I'm glad we only spent 3 hours there, and we got back on the train, and I was much more relieved once they were securely on the train. So, but I did want them to see the Grand Canyon. It was just something that really made an impact on me, how beautiful it was, and I wanted them to experience the same thing. CG4 cool gray matches good. We had just a great road trip, and after we left there, we drove to Silver Lakes. We had a timeshare there, and we went and stayed there for like 5 days. So it was a total of about 11 days on the road, and staying at different places, and it was just a great time. I like to take my kids on vacation when they were growing up, because I wanted them to know the importance of spending time as a family, and going to different places, and just spending time together. And I don't know, I thought that was important to teach my kids. This is 55 Emerald Green, and so that was a great, I remember that's just a memorable experience. I have the greatest picture inside the lobby of the dam. Before you went on the dam tour, there were 3 drinking fountains, and they were staggered. There was one that was high, one that was in the middle, and then a low one, and it was perfect. So I have a picture of all 3 of them drinking dam water. It's probably one of my favorite pictures of the kids ever. I think I'll post that on Instagram for anyone that wants to see it. It just brings back memories. It was just fun. You usually see 2 faucets, and they're one high and one low, but I just have rarely seen 3. And the fact that I had 3 kids, and it was just perfect, all 3 of them drinking dam water. It was priceless. So this is Emerald Green. I think I told you that already. This is pretty. These are really juicy markers. I'm really impressed with the lay down. I think they go down really well. The coverage is good. My application is not that great, but the colors are looking beautiful. So this is that one doesn't match very good, but again, that's okay. I don't really go by the cap. I'm going to go by the chart, which is why we have them. This is 68 Turquoise Blue. And I do see how they're grouping light colors together. So I kind of like it. I'm kind of liking this beehive color chart here, and how it's laid out. Again, I don't know the rhyme or reason for it. I mean, I know that they match, but I don't know if, you know, colors go together. I know Copics are numbered, so you know which colors, you know, go together, which, you know, like tones. They're just darker or lighter by the way they're numbered. But I don't know about if it's the same effect for or the same system for budget-friendly markers. I don't know. I don't know if they're just numbered just to be numbered, where I know Copics are deliberate. This is 68 turquoise blue, and that's a pretty good match. I really like the feel of these markers in my hand. They're nice and light. The shape of them is easy to hold. So far, the caps have been pretty good. They're not too terrible. This is a number 3, rose red. Sorry if you hear some noises in the back. The boys seem to be getting up. I may not do this entire swatch with you on camera. You might get bored anyway. I don't even think we're halfway through yet. So that would be a long color and chat for me. I don't generally, I mean, I can talk that long, no problem. But I don't know that you guys want to sit here that long. The pink and red colors are beautiful in this. Number 3, rose red. It's okay, it's not perfect, but I don't expect it to be perfect. Nothing's perfect in this world, is it? 51, dark green. So I will just keep this nice compact little color chart with the markers. I can just grab them in their little box and go, and I'll have the color chart right there with me. So this was a definitely nice bonus. I know it's just a little piece of paper, but it was definitely a nice thing to have in the in with the case. So, little things like that make me happy. I think it's just the extras that you know, the company went that extra step and provided you with that, and I think I'm appreciative of that kind of stuff. Not so much. Ooh, purple. This is light violet, number 82, and that is a beautiful color. At least the cap looks beautiful. Oh, beautiful. I love purple. You know, I hated the color purple when I was growing up. I don't know why. I just did not like it, and I don't even remember when I started really appreciating the color purple. But you know, I grew up in the 80s, and everything was, you know, avocado green and harvest gold, and you know, I don't remember what, burnt orange, and all the just not drab, but, and there weren't really nature colors. They were just 80s. I don't know how to explain it. And so bright colors and stuff just weren't really a thing until I think the 80s, and then everybody did like a color, I mean, the late 80s. The 70s and the early 80s were the olive, or the avocado green, and the harvest gold, and the brown. And I remember houses you could choose, and you know, we always had the avocado green colored, you know, the stove in the front of the dishwasher. It was so funny. And then the 80s, you know, the late 80s, then all of a sudden, you know, it was just a color explosion, and with the flash dance and let's get physical and all of that. You know, everyone's wearing bright colors and neon. And 82, that was light violet, and I think that matches pretty good. I think we're gonna stop when I'm at the end of this row, so I don't bore you to death. I think you guys have gotten a good idea of the of how they match. The cap matches with the ink color. You know, some are pretty spot on. Some are a little off, but they're not terribly off. I think we found one that was really kind of like, what? But more so that was the name of it, not the cap color to the ink color. This is 174 spring. Whew, spring. I do not know what that word is. I think it's spring dim green. I can't read it. It's so small. Let me get my magnifying. I want to know what that word is. Well, I can't see it even with the magnifying glass. Yeah, I think it's spring dim green. I have no idea, honestly. But it's number 174. We're just going to put it down and see what it looks like. Ah, another tight cap. Oh. You know, I'm not a good indicator on how tight caps are because I have no strength. This hand had the stroke or was affected by the stroke. Oh, I could not get that one off. I had to use my teeth. Don't tell my mom. 174. She paid for braces, and she'd kill me if she knew I used my teeth to get these things off at times. But I haven't had a problem like that. This is the only one, and it could have been just put on a little wacky. Oh, I think there's something a little messed up with that cap. Oh, that one came off like a dream. Oh, this is a beautiful color. This would probably be one of my favorites for doing leaves. Oh, isn't that pretty? Oh, I love it. Spring dim green. That, I think that's what it says, but that is really pretty. It's actually prettier than it shows on the end, and the end is pretty, but it's a little darker than the cap, but very, very pretty. Oh, I love that color. Here's another gray, BG1 blue gray. So I found out from my daughter that every time their phone rings now, their cell phone, if they don't need to answer it, if it's just a solicitor or something, they'll ignore it. But Yum, he'll be like, hey, there's a phone call, just trying to get their attention. And then when they keep ignoring and they tell him, oh no, it's okay, then he'll go, Mama, I can't say it exactly like he says it, but he calls me Mama, like grandma. He's 18 months old, so he's just really learning to talk. And he's like, Mama, like, it's grandma. My grandma is calling me. Pick up that phone. And they'll tell him, it's not grandma, it's not grandma. But every time it rings, he thinks it's grandma. So it's pretty adorable. He misses me, and when I get on the phone with him, he's just solid smiles on his face and takes me around the house and puts the phone up to his ear, and it's adorable. And of course I'm on FaceTime, so I'm just getting dizzy looking around the living room or wherever he is. This is blue green 1, and it looks great. So yeah, he is just precious. And Catalina, she's still confused about the phone. She doesn't quite understand why she hears Grandma, but I look like a you know, a little creature in the box. So, but she's 6 months, so she does smile when she hears my voice, though. But when she's looking at the phone, she looks very perplexed. This is Raw Umber 102. These are really, really cool. I like these markers a lot. I think 80, I have the 180 set of the Cali Arts, and they're beautiful to look at. I had to put them in a case, though, because that 180 size bag was just terrible. You open them up and, you know, they flop everywhere. And so I put them in a, you know, a case. And there's a lot of markers, though. And this 80, sometimes it's easier just to have less. You have less to choose from. It's not as complex. And, you know, if I'm doing a detailed page with pencils, that's different. I want a lot to choose from. But like I said, I pretty much straight color with markers. And less is better for me. This is Raw Umber, and yeah, I think it's okay. But these markers are definitely impressing me. This is 35 Lemon Yellow. They go down beautifully. So far, most of the caps have been no problem. They're secure. I like the way that you can put the cap on the end. They're a perfect size. Very perfect, and they're all, I haven't had a single one that's been dry or scratchy. They've all been nice and juicy, and for the most part the cap is matching the color of the ink, so that's pretty impressive, because that doesn't happen usually on budget-friendly markers. They usually aren't very close. Like that. That's not very close. I think that's too far off. You would think this would be a much lighter color than it is, and it's definitely more of a golden yellow. This is called Lemon Yellow, but again, the names, if they're named something crazy, I don't care. I don't go by that. But that is a very pretty yellow, and I really like it. That one went down really nice. Number 2, Old Red. Oh, that's a nice color, red. It's a nice dark kind of maroon red, or a brick red. I don't know if it's called Old Red because it's supposed to look like old blood, but it kind of does, like dried blood. Oh. I like that color. I only have one more after this. And then we'll call it a night, and I'll stop the camera, and then I'll come back on and show you when I've completed it. I like that color. It's nice to have a variety of reds. This was number 2, Old Red. It's nice to have that because red is a pretty, I think that reds, if it's the wrong red, it won't go where you may want it to go, and they don't, because red can be to the orange side, it can be to the purple side, it can be more to the brown side. So red is a real, I mean, like all colors, but red is, you know, like, these are all so different. I know they're pink, but so if you need a red, you need a specific color. This one's called Cherry Pink, or yeah, Cherry Pink, number 5. And this is the last one in the row. Actually, I pulled this one out from a different row because the next one was gray, and I was like, I can't end with the gray, that's boring. That's a pretty red as well. Oh, I didn't use the chisel tip on that. That's all right. That's all right. We know the chisel tip's probably okay. juicy, just like I thought. So, number 5, yeah, that's not too close, but again, I go by the color chart and the color of the ink. I don't really look, I mean, I look at the color of the pen to get an idea, but I also know that they're not always spot on, so you have to look at the color chart, again, which is why you swatch them out. You know, it's a lot different than a pencil. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it here, and when I come back, I'll have them all filled out, and you can see the markers on paper in all their glory. And again, I'm very, very happy with the Parku budget-friendly markers. I'm not sure how much they are right now, but I still think that they're very reasonable. And for someone just starting out, this would be a great set to start with. I think this is probably one of the best, if not the best, budget-friendly marker I've used. I'm not happy with the way the CaliArt markers have been redesigned, and I don't like that they don't that the caps don't stack. I love CaliArts, and I do like the way they go down, but as far as a nice, you know, starting set of budget-friendly markers, I would recommend these Parku. I've tried several different brands. I haven't always done reviews on them, but I have tried many brands, and I'm really impressed with these. The shape of them. The only downside I see is that there isn't a name on the marker body, only on the ends of the caps, but they are nicely written. I don't think that they'll wear away like some markers. They're nice and clear. You can read them. So I'm giving these a really good recommendation. I think these are great for someone starting out. It's got a nice variety of color, and the ink is going down perfectly, so there's no question of that. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys have a great night or day or morning, wherever you are, and I will show the completed color chart. When I finish it up, I'll turn the camera back on and show you that. So everyone stay sexy, and I'll see you guys later. Bye. Hey friends, I'm back. I went ahead and finished up the swatching, and I was pretty impressed. There's no two colors that are too similar. Maybe these two here, but they're still not the same. So I was impressed with that. There are a handful of nice skin tones. You know, for an 80 set, you wouldn't expect too many. You know, I could have done with some less grays, but that's okay. Overall, I'm really impressed with these markers. I did find a couple more caps, excuse me, caps that just didn't match at all with the actual ink color. But for the price of these markers, I think they're outstanding. I looked on Amazon today. Today is February 12th. And I looked on there, and they are $30 and change before tax. So that's a pretty good deal. They have an 18% off coupon right now. And they did come with two metallics, a silver and a gold. I think it's got a nice array of colors. There's not a real, like a light yellow, but there's a good amount of greens. There's a decent amount of blues, a lot of reds and pinks and purples. That's always good. Purples are sometimes included in marker sets, and so that's pretty good. There's only one orange, or there's a highlighter orange, but there's only one orange, and I thought that was a little strange. But again, overall, I think they're a good basic set of markers to start someone off. The price is you know, great. 80 markers for 30 bucks. That's pretty reasonable. And the pens are nice. They are nice in your hand. They are, the caps are on nice and secure. They're not too hard to take apart. And the caps do stack on the bottom for, you know, keeping the cap secure. So overall, I think they're great. And if anyone has any questions, put them down below in the comments. And I will see you guys in my next video. Take care and stay sexy. Hey, I'm back again, friends. I noticed on watching back the video that I was off camera somewhat when I was filling out the color chart, and I apologize for that. I just wanted to let you know that I did notice that, and I apologize. Hopefully it wasn't too annoying for you, and I will see you guys later. Bye.